So setting powders are one of those products that I think women can forget about. If you haven't used one that's been a game changer for you, or if you've been able to really see the difference before and after, you may think, I don't need that, it's just another step, I don't have time for that. But I'm telling you, setting powders, like even more than a primer, are a game changer in how long your makeup is gonna last during the day, how good it's gonna look, and kind of how even it'll look on your face. And it can also kind of refresh your face if you have something to do in the evening or you just need a little pick-me-up midday. So there are a lot of different setting powders. Some are completely translucent, some have a little bit of shimmer in them, like a highlight. Some are used for like only your under eye area, others are kind of for the full face. So since I use so many different kinds of them depending on what look I'm going for, I thought I would talk through some of my favorites, some that I've used most recently, explain why I use them, what they do, and why I think they're so great. My favorite setting powder that has been the most revolutionary in my under eye concealing life is the Laura Mercier. Let me get the full name for you here. The Secret Brightening Powder for Under Eyes. This is a translucent powder. It is a loose powder. I don't love loose powders, but I understand why it's loose versus pressed. It's white in here, but it goes on completely transparent, except for the fact that it'll offer a little bit of brightening to your under eye area. So the reason you would use something like this is to set your concealer. Sometimes concealer can have sort of a tacky finish to it, and if you've ever found that it creases or mascara has flaked off and then you have this kind of black smear under your eye, it could be because it's falling onto kind of a creamy concealer under your eye area. To counteract that, you need to set it with a little bit of setting powder. And this one is loose, so it goes on really light and airy. That's what you want because you don't want it to look like you're wearing a ton of makeup under your eye. And it also adds a brightening effect that you can really notice. Not shimmer, not glittery, not glowy, but I honestly don't really know how they do it. It just brightens up the whole under eye area. So ever since I started using this, it became a holy grail product. I can't be without it. You can see this is just like a little container. I picked this up at the little checkout area at Sephora, so this has lasted me so long already. I can't imagine when I'll need to buy a new one, but when I run out, I will buy a new one. So other than a specific powder for the eye, an overall setting powder is good, like I said, to kind of set your makeup, keep everything where it is, and create sort of a flawless finish. The two that accomplish that for me are one, the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. This is a translucent pressed powder. And then the NYX HD Finishing Powder, also a translucent pressed powder. So you can see the difference here. It is pressed in the pan versus that loose powder that you use kind of a brush for to pick up the product. Here you would just press the brush into the product to lift it off. So like I said, these are translucent. They're not gonna offer any color to your face, but they just kind of even everything out and take away a little bit of shine if you have oily skin as well. I don't have oily skin, I have dry skin, but the reason I use this is to kind of just even out all of my makeup so it doesn't look like my blush is a little bit separated from the rest of my face, and it just kind of creates this nice filter over top. The Bye Bye Pores is supposed to help shrink your pores. I gotta be honest, I haven't seen that happen. However, it is probably like the smallest powder I've ever used for being a pressed powder, which I love because I really hate loose powders despite how good they work. So you can see I've hit pan here. I use this one a lot as just a really quick finish to the face if I don't want to add any highlight or any other shimmer. The NYX powder is a great price point. You'll be able to find it for about under 10 bucks at most stores. It is translucent, so even though it looks white in here, I promise you it's not going to add any color to your skin, and it's just a great filter, kind of blurs everything, easy to use. Great if you're new to setting powders and you're unsure about it. If you don't want to break the bank, this is a good one to start with. The setting powder I would choose if I needed my makeup to look perfect an entire day, especially if it was like a rainy day or a humid day, or just needed it to look absolutely flawless, it would be the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Powder. This is waterproof and my makeup doesn't budge when I put this on. You can see that this looks a little bit darker than like this white translucent one. It does offer a teeny tiny bit of color to your skin. It doesn't come in a shade, like there's no fair or medium or anything on here. This is just kind of the basic packaging of it. However, it's a nice sort of warmth to the skin. It's not bronzer, so I hope I'm not confusing you with that. It's just kind of a layer of powder over top, and it is waterproof, and it makes sure nothing, no foundation, nothing else you put on before it will go anywhere. The last product I'm gonna tell you about is one of my favorites. A makeup artist told me about it earlier this year, and she was floored to hear that I didn't have it. It is a setting powder, but this one is a little different because it offers some glow and luminosity to the skin. It is the Becca Blurring Light Powder. This shade is Golden Hour. It's another loose powder, but it's so good. Even though it's a loose powder, I use it. You can see it's this really nice, pretty golden color. This does add a tiny bit of color to your skin. It is not translucent, and it offers like almost that perfecting Instagram filter. If you've ever tried that one on stories, it does this to your skin in real life. It's kind of amazing. So your options with a powder like this are to put it all over your face, or to just put it on kind of your cheekbones, maybe your forehead, for just a little bit of brightness. It depends, you can kind of play around with it. This is different than like a basic setting powder. This would just go all over your face to set your makeup. This is gonna add a little bit of extra to your makeup, so you just wanna be mindful about where you're putting it. You certainly could put it over your entire face, or you can just concentrate it on certain areas, like I said. So I've gone through kind of my favorite setting powders. The last tip I wanna leave you with is to use the biggest, fluffiest brush. Either if you're using that under eye setting powder, the fluffier the brush, the better, or if you're using a setting powder for your whole face. You don't wanna rub the brush against your skin either, just kind of press it into your skin so you're not messing up any other makeup and you're just kind of putting it on top of everything. So the fluffier the brush, the lighter the product's gonna be, the prettier the finish will be. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you wanna see some recent makeup tutorials, I linked a few of them right below this video on the description box, and then I'll also link to them in the blog post. And if you're looking for links to any of the products I talked about in this video, you can find those on the blog post as well.